What's going on, guys? Welcome back. I'm so happy to be back with you guys. There's been so much happening, and one of the main reasons that I took a little bit of a break was because of the speed of the news cycle that was coming on. I mean, with the elections happening and with everything going on with from Breonna Taylor to the things with Hunter Biden to just some minuscule things, Kanye West talking about being pro-life, there was so much to cover that I just needed to kind of revamp a little bit, take a step back, breathe, and truly assess what stories I was going to cover. So today, I finally finished my room. I finished my new setup. If you like it, let me know. Let me know how you like my Gibson guitar, because that's my pride and joy. And let's get into it a little bit. Let's talk.
Share with you a dramatic little story.
The world's going crazy, but then so am I. Taking time to compose, expose my hella, and then organize. Free your mind. Everyone got a narrative and a white lie.
So one of the first things that I need to talk to you guys about is this Breonna Taylor thing. For months at this point, the left has been talking about how Breonna Taylor is innocent. We need to say her name. She's been treated unfairly because of the racism, the institutional racism of America, and everything that's happening in America is the reason that Breonna Taylor was brutally murdered in her bed. Come to find out, 2 days ago, I think, the Attorney General of the state where this happened actually came out and gave an entire concise speech on exactly what transcended on that night, and it had nothing to do with the leftist narrative. So we're going to jump to what President Trump has announced in response to this, which I think is a genius tactic from a political level, but also just shows where his heart really is. But let's cover the exact things that transpired when it comes to Breonna Taylor. So Breonna Taylor was a flawed human, just like I'm a flawed human, just like you're a flawed human. She was wrapped up in a life that she was frankly in over her head. And it's unfortunate and it's tragic, but it's the truth, and we can't shy away from that. So what happened to her was she was dating a man who was in drug trafficking. And when she split from him, she went and dated somebody else. Now, there was a warrant for Breonna Taylor's house. I think it was her house or her name personally. Her name was on the warrant. And we were hearing all of these muddling things about, oh, no-knock warrants need to be changed. No-knock warrants are no good. But the truth of the matter was that the neighbors of the house, or the neighbors of that apartment, actually corroborated the fact that the police knocked multiple times and announced themselves. Now, this alone should make you question the rest of the media's narrative on this story. What transpired was, after numerous times of knocking, the actual police started to ram down the door. And when that happened, on the other side of the door, Breonna Taylor's now boyfriend, not her ex, but her now boyfriend, grabbed a gun. They woke up, they ran to the door, and they shot one shot. So one of the police officers goes and he kind of gets in the door a little bit and starts shooting carelessly. He was indicted for that, for reckless endangerment, which I think is fair. If you're going to just be shooting blindly, you should be put on trial for reckless endangerment. Now, I don't fault him for that necessarily, because heat of the moment, so many things could happen and you can make so many mistakes. I know me, being an untrained person, would never know how to handle that. What ended up happening was the boyfriend of Breonna Taylor, I have to get back to you on his name, shot back at the police 6 times. And as the police were returning fire on this, after being shot at first, Breonna Taylor was caught in the crossfire. Now, what's the takeaway from this? Is the takeaway that we should be more fair to the black community? Not necessarily. I don't think one has anything to do with the other. Not to say that the black community doesn't have amazing things and that we need to work on certain things, which we're going to get to, but it had nothing to do with this case. This was a case about drugs, and this was a case about trying to find a criminal. And what ended up happening was Breonna Taylor, either willingly or unwillingly, I will go out on the limb and say unwillingly, was caught in the crossfire. That doesn't mean that her decisions up to that point didn't lead her there. And that's the one thing that we have to remember. Our decisions will always set us up for what's going to happen to us next in life. It's not like we can control everything that comes at us, but we can mitigate those risks by making good decisions in life. And that's, I think, the conservative worldview here. If you wouldn't have dated a drug dealer, if you wouldn't have dated another drug dealer, if you wouldn't have hid that cash for him or taken that cash for him or stashed it all in your house, you wouldn't be in this predicament. And I'm not victim blaming here. I'm saying take accountability for the responsibilities that you had and the decisions that you made. That's all I'm saying. This has nothing to do with whether or not she deserved it or didn't, because nobody deserves to die in the crossfire of a police fight, not even police officers. So we can't sit here and say that she's a victim when she put herself in those predicaments, and the police were doing their job as best as they could, and there was just no compliance from the guy on the other side of the door. The next thing I want to talk about is President Trump's response to this. So in the news has been Ruth Bader Ginsburg and her dying wishes and people wanting Trump to wait to replace her. And Trump was like, too bad, I'm going to do it. Why was the left so adamant about this? The reason is because they want their end no matter what the means. There is no means to the left's end, right? That whatever they want their victory to be, whatever their power grab is, that's what they want. So in order for them to retain power, they want to pressure Trump into waiting to fill that Supreme Court seat so that when Joe Biden gets into office, they can start stacking the courts and they can start doing all this stuff that's going to ultimately lead to more Democrat power, which ultimately leads to socialism, communism, Marxism, postmodern thought, extremism, all that stuff. So that's a lot to digest. The reason I go there is because President Trump has not been bullied by these ideas, by these talks, by all these things. What he's done instead is he said, I'm going to go out and I'm going to defend the American people. In specific, I'm going to help heal the black community. Some people might say, well, it's taken him this long to do it. And you have to remember, Joe Biden's been in office for 50 years, all right? Compared to Trump, who's been in office for 4 years now. And he's already done more in his 4 years than most sitting presidents do in 2 terms. So he's already signed the Prison Reform Act. He's already done the right to try. He's already done the Hispanic Prosperity Initiative. He's already done so many things to help minorities. And today what he announced, and this is the reason I decided to make this video, he announced that he was making the KKK and Antifa into a terrorist organization. And on top of that, he's going to make lynching a terrorist crime. Just bar none, you cannot lynch somebody or you will absolutely rot in jail for the rest of your life and maybe get the death penalty. This is huge for the obvious reasons that obviously those things are wrong, but from a political reason. If Trump manages to capture the minds of 2% to 5% more of the black community, he has this election in the bag. Game over, it's done. And if what it takes to get that is to make the KKK a terrorist organization, so nobody can ever say ever again that Trump is a Nazi or that he's dog whistling to the KKK, when he's giving all these people pretty much the biggest penalty that there is. It's like, you guys are now domestic terrorists. So to me, this is an amazing thing, and it's an amazing accomplishment, and I applaud the president for doing this, and I want to see more actions, tangible actions like this. He's donating, I think it's $500 billion to making sure that all of this happens. And we're sitting here at a crossroads where if you're not on board for Trump because you think that he's rude or he's sarcastic or he's not presidential or this and that, you have a choice to make. You can either vote for the guy that made the KKK terrorist organization, or you can vote for a guy that just released a video, or a video recently surfaced of him saying the N-word like 4 times in a courtroom. So make your pick. You know, you can say Trump is immoral, he's sexually immoral, he's all this, and that. But when it comes down to it, we're not voting for a father. We're not voting for a pastor. We're not voting for, you know, some sort of moral leader. We're voting for the presidency, somebody that's going to get the job done. And so far to me, it looks like President Trump is getting the job done. So all of this being said, I'm so glad to be back, and I want to get your opinion on what's going on. What do you think about Trump and this announcement that he made today, September 25th, and where do you think this is going to lead? What do you think about the election and what's going to happen? And now, I just want to tell you guys, thank you so much for sticking around. I've had people message me, hey, I can't wait for your videos. I'm back. I'm rolling. I'm going to be doing this extra, so let's go for it. And the more you guys share, the more you guys comment, the more you guys like, the better it'll be for me and the easier it'll be for me to keep doing these things. So please stick around. And if you need to, if I could ask for one favor from you guys, it would be that you check out my Patreon and you just go to patreon.com/angelkiros and you just help me out with whatever you can. Any little amount helps. Now, if you're already having trouble, I know COVID season is up. Now, don't feel the need. I mean, you just watching this is plenty for me. But if you have, and if you're willing to contribute or invest into what I'm doing, into the cameras and the setup and bringing guests on and doing all this stuff, I promise you I'm not going to leave you high and dry. I'm willing to go as far as I need to with this content and getting this message of patriotism and conservatism across, and good morality and Christianity and all of that. So thank you guys for what you've been doing for me, and I can't wait to do more for you guys. So that being said, my name is Angel, and if you made it this far, you're the real MVP. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.
Share with you a dramatic little story.
The world's going crazy, but then so am I. Taking time to compose, expose my hell and then organize. Free your mind, everyone got a narrative and a white lie. People painting pictures for the masses, just for dollar signs. It's all about the group you're with, I don't care about the life you live. All I see is a small group in your large group that don't see their sin. Nobody look at character, everybody look at color skin. Nobody look at numbers or facts, it's just how it is. Growing up in a modern